She said, "It's just one last trip with my ex." I smiled, booked it under his name, froze our card, canceled vendors, split bills, and sent the one-way itinerary. At her bridal shower, the caterer read my note, and my new girlfriend took her seat while her ex walked in. Surprise, here's consequences. I, Elias, age 32, male, had been with Camille, age 29, for 6 years. I maintained a publicly low profile, working as a senior risk analyst for a small, specialized data analytics group in San Francisco, California. My visible salary was a stable $190,000 per year. I specialized in designing intricate, proprietary data visualization systems that tracked large-scale financial anomalies. My work was essential, but intentionally kept outside the mainstream tech spotlight. Camille worked as a luxury wedding planner and social media influencer. Her income was highly commission-based and often varied wildly, averaging $110,000 annually. Our combined visible income of $300,000 was heavily stretched by Camille's demands for outward status. We owned a modern loft condo in the Soma district, valued at $1,500,000, which was entirely held in my family trust. I drove an old, practical Toyota Prius for my discreet commuting. Camille leased a powerful Porsche Taycan SUV to maintain her affluent client image. We frequently dined at trendy, loud rooftop restaurants for her required networking. Our social life was dominated by her pursuit of high visibility status. Our wedding was scheduled for November. Camille had an ex-boyfriend, Julian, who was a high-profile travel blogger and often served as her confidant. She recently took a week-long cruise with him, claiming it was essential for her business. In late February, a monumental career opportunity arrived that represented the final strategic step of my plan. I was offered the executive position of Director of Global Financial Integrity for a major international fund. The elite role was based in Basel, Switzerland. The package was precisely the ultimate step in high finance I needed. It included a base salary of $450,000. Additionally, they offered a substantial $100,000 annual housing stipend. The total annual cash compensation was a verifiable $550,000. I waited until we were reviewing the house renovation costs before presenting the opportunity to Camille. I laid the acquisition summary on the counter. "This job is the absolute peak of my technical field," I stated calmly. "It moves us to Basel with nearly triple the visible income," I explained, citing the massive figures. Camille did not even touch the document. She answered with immediate disdain. "Basel is boring, and the position sounds incredibly academic, Elias." "The salary is $450,000, I responded, keeping my voice level. She scoffed sharply, dismissing the entire proposition. Director of Financial Integrity is just a predictable, bureaucratic title. It involves strategic, multi-billion-dollar asset management, I answered steadily. She then focused on my stability. "You're just a stepping stone to someone actually successful, not a destination." Her complete dismissal of my intellectual value and future plans was the final trigger. Update 1. I quietly accepted the Director of Global Financial Integrity position the next morning. My start date was set for the 1st of June, allowing 3 months for transition and legal finalization. I began preparing for the move and the financial split without involving Camille in any specifics. I gave the final go-ahead to my an attorney regarding the wedding contracts. Camille continued her pattern of repeating dismissive comments publicly. She frequently told her friend, Deanna, a fellow socialite, that my new job was a pathetic retreat. "Elias is running to Europe to hide his low ceiling," Camille often told Deanna. Our friends, Marco and Deanna, openly sided with Camille's focus on immediate, visible flash. They frequently reinforced her view. "Why trade the vitality of San Francisco for Swiss neutrality, Elias?" Marco asked me once. Professional security requires strategic positioning, I replied factually. I initiated decisive steps to secure my assets. I established a new banking relationship in Zurich, transferring the bulk of my liquid personal assets. I quietly secured a penthouse in Basel's desirable Vorstadt district. Crucially, I maintained close, confidential communication with Dr. Anya Chen, the brilliant and attorney who handled the original sale of my condo to the family trust. Anya agreed to manage the final, public revenge scenario. The plan was meticulous: cancel the wedding, freeze our accounts, and expose her relationship with Julian at the climax. Update 2. The confrontation arrived abruptly in late May, 1 week before her elaborate bridal shower. I had finalized the sale of the condo to my sister's trust and the legal documents with Miss Cho. I waited until Camille was finalizing her invitations. I am moving to Basel in 3 days, I stated simply. The divorce filing is also complete. Camille's face hardened instantly. You cannot move and ruin my social standing with this filing. The relocation and the legal filing are both executed, I confirmed. The situation is final. She launched into a furious confrontation, demanding I surrender the house and cancel the job. She claimed I was betraying her future. This is an absolute betrayal of my time, she insisted loudly. You consistently mocked my stability and intellect, I countered calmly. She then delivered the final, predictable ultimatum, using her social status as a weapon. My girlfriend said, "You're just a stepping stone to someone actually successful, not a destination." I just smiled and nodded calmly. I let her pack her bags and walk out the door. She had no idea that I had just sold my company for millions. My new destination is a penthouse with her now ex-best friend. I finalized the devastating details of the revenge. I froze our joint card. I canceled all wedding vendors, using only the small print clauses she inserted. I sent the one-way itinerary for her last trip to Julian's email and copied her lawyer. Update 3. The fallout over the next weeks was precisely as brutal as intended. Camille's final insult about the stepping stone was met with the devastating truth of her financial reality. Her wedding collapsed due to canceled contracts, and her bank accounts offered no relief. Camille immediately cycled through disbelief and intense anger. She sent me frantic, unintelligible messages demanding an explanation for the vendor cancellations. "You deliberately ruined my wedding," she accused me loudly in a text. "I exercised the cancellation clauses in the contracts," I replied factually. She was forced to confront the separation and the massive financial damage to her social image. She refused to acknowledge the reality, trapped in denial. Moving day was quiet and efficient. Camille was absent, trying to resuscitate her wedding plans. I remained calm and analytically detached through the rapid process. My focus was entirely on the high-level transition to Basel. My emotional state was stable and entirely focused on my new responsibilities. My first detailed view of my new life in Basel, Switzerland, was one of immense efficiency and strategic calm. The city was pristine and historic. My new office felt significant. My penthouse apartment in Vorstadt provided stunning views of the Rhine. I started the new job that Monday morning. The work was complex, demanding, and intellectually stimulating. Update 4. I was quickly thriving professionally in the new environment. The role required decisive leadership and analytical precision in global investment strategy. My team was highly supportive and respected my ethics. Socially, I embraced the city's stability and intellectual rigor. I began training at a high-end gym and attended local cultural festivals. My relationship with Dr. Anya Chen, the M&A attorney who executed the final steps, deepened. Anya was now managing my private financial strategy from Zurich. Financially, the change was dramatic. The $550,000 package was only the start. My personal wealth, protected in the trust, was secure. I purchased a high-end, all-electric Porsche taken sedan for my travel. My lifestyle improvement was controlled, focused entirely on investment and stability. In October, I achieved my first major milestone, successfully leading a critical acquisition. This earned me a substantial mid-year performance bonus of $100,000. The phrase she used, stepping stone, was now the ironic fuel for my continued success. Around this time, the first hesitant tendrils of Camille's network began reaching out. Marco, the friend who had mocked my move, sent me a tentative LinkedIn message. "Hey Elias, is that executive job real?" his message read. "The work is complex and financially rewarding," I replied politely. Deanna, his wife, reached out to Anya, confused. Anya politely confirmed my new status and her partnership with me. The disaster at the bridal shower was legendary. I heard the most painful moment was when the caterer, whom I had prepaid to simply read the note detailing her one-way ticket with Julian, made the announcement. It was just one last trip with my ex, and now everyone knew. Update 5 in December, I decided to make my career success completely public and undeniable. I posted a detailed update on LinkedIn, describing the successful acquisition and my role. I included a professional photo of myself in the Basel office. The post was factual and professional, detailing my title, Chief Innovation Officer, CIO. Camille quickly learned the full truth about my wealth and status. She had minimized and mocked the job offer for months. She now saw undeniable proof of a private fortune and the highest executive title. Within hours of the post, Camille sent me a flood of pleading messages, alternating between demanding explanations and emotional accusations. "You knew the entire time that you were rich," she claimed furiously. "My salary was correct for my consulting role," I responded with factual clarity. "You should have shared your full inheritance," she argued illogically. "The premarital assets were legally protected," I countered. Marco and Deanna sent explicit apology emails. Marco confessed that Camille had convinced them I was a timid analyst running from a bad life. "We feel completely foolish for not seeing your strategic intelligence," Marco wrote. "My sister, Ava, called from the States. Your victory for strategic silence is complete, Elias," Ava confirmed. Update 6. In late January, Camille flew to Basel unannounced. She claimed she was there for a vague real estate investment seminar, but admitted her true purpose was to see me. She called my office line and asked to meet. I agreed to meet her at a quiet, public cafe near the lake. When she sat down, she immediately launched into a practice performance. She claimed she had spent the last year realizing her life was too focused on material possessions. "I see things clearly now, Elias," she said, looking straight at me. "What exactly do you see clearly?" I asked, holding my coffee cup steadily. "I see I was foolish and overly focused on the wrong things," she continued, her voice soft. I referred only to her past actions and her final insult. "You called me a stepping stone," I stated the fact. "That was only out of fear of loss," she responded quickly. I then referenced her inability to secure any funds from my family assets due to her action. "Your circumstances changed, not your character," I pointed out. She shifted tactics and insisted on returning, attempting to appeal to our shared past. "I want to come back to Zurich," she said. "We can try again." I declined calmly, explaining that the separation was permanent and the ethical breach was too great. "My future is secured by trust," I told her firmly. Update 7. Camille did not accept the decline gracefully. She attempted a brief, aggressive period of legal retaliation. Her first move was to send a letter demanding a cut of the pre-marital inheritance. The letter was poorly constructed. My lawyer, Miss Cho, managed the legal attempt efficiently. Miss Cho sent a clinically precise reply that cited the finality of the divorce and the legal structure of the asset sale to the trust. The lawyer ceased contact immediately after receiving Miss Cho's letter. Online, Camille tried to damage my professional reputation. She posted vague accusations on a popular finance forum, implying my fund management was based on insider information. She claimed I was a ruthless corporate criminal. Her online claims quickly collapsed under scrutiny. Marco and Deanna, already aware of her deception, publicly defended my ethics. My firm issued a neutral but firm statement destroying her credibility. Update 8. 1 year later, my life in Basel had achieved a stable, prosperous equilibrium. I was wealthier, more established as CIO, and deeply satisfied with my independence. My salary was now $725,000, reflecting my permanent title. I was in a committed, respectful relationship with Dr. Anya Chen. We were engaged to be married and lived together in the Vorstedt penthouse. In May, on the anniversary of our final conversation, Camille sent a final, short message of regret via an old email address. "I realize my terrible mistake," the email read. "I should have valued the man, not the income," she continued. I took the time to craft a short, polite reply that closed the door completely. "I wish you well in your future endeavors," I wrote briefly. I then immediately archived the message. Final update: 6 months after the final email, I was visiting San Francisco for a brief conference. While hosting a dinner for potential investors, I was approached by Mr. Alastair Thorne, the head of the catering company I had hired for the disastrous bridal shower. Mr. Thorne had always been dismissive of my work. Mr. Thorne apologized to me, his voice low and serious. "Elias, I need to apologize for my firm's part in the awkwardness." He admitted his own mistake in accepting the contract and ignoring the warning signs. He confessed that he had initially believed my low-profile job meant I lacked true ambition. "I wrongly assumed external wealth was the only metric," Mr. Thorne stated. He then reflected on the core insult. It was just one last trip with my ex. Mr. Thorne noted that his catering staff were still discussing the public humiliation. "That was the most memorable corporate event we ever serviced, thanks to your final note." I accepted his apology with a calm understanding. I acknowledged that his admission was significant. I explained that my actions were based on defending my self-worth from predictable financial manipulation. My reflection on the entire process yielded a direct life lesson. Never let anyone define your value, especially when your greatest asset is the anonymity of your success. I secured peace by publicly dismantling her wedding and finding a partner who saw my worth before the wealth.